Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen CitizenCon 2954 summary. So, what I want to talk about here is the major highlights and talking points of CitizenCon this year. Sort of just briefly go, bam, these are the highlights. What did you miss if you just want to have it all compact as possible? We are going to be doing a video on each of the panels and doing deeper dives into that. We're going to be talking a lot about this stuff over the coming weeks. We've also been putting up the panels that have been out, sort of cutting them down just from the giant broadcasts that they already put out because people have been asking for them. Anyway, let's take a look at the first panel on the first day, Brave New Worlds. They talked about the Genesis planetary universe and construction tools. Basically, they're going to be procedurally generating out tons of content all over the game, but at a really high detail is the idea. This includes dense forests with variation and competition. So you're going to see a forest that looks like, oh wow, that could actually exist. They're going to take into account geology, soil, temperature, humidity. There's much better cliffs now. The sort of planetary tech V5 stuff is coming online and making stuff look a lot better. No popping assets, no tilings. The idea here, we're going to have swamps and jungles and redwoods. They showed examples of these new biomes. Planets, they're going to be covered in potentially thousands of points of interest, and these are all going to be clustered together. That makes sense. You'll have a distribution center that's a mining center, and then near it you'll have a load of mines and mining outposts, and then near that you might have individual mines that you could get access to get gems, but there's a load of other stuff and refineries going on there as well. Planets can have thousands of locations on. There's just a huge amount of gameplay area and things to do across each of these planets and moons. They also showed off some very cool dynamic weather and dangerous storms. So this will sort of like have very heavy rain and buffy and blow your ship around, and the lightning can be very dangerous and damage and destroy your ship, and it gives reasons to actually go to ground, use ground vehicles to assault structures, travel on the ground, all that sort of stuff. Just reasons not to have ships dominating everywhere, but also it's really cool to have dynamic weather and storms and stuff like this. The social universe presentation was very cool because it had org features. That's what I wanted for years. So there's like party finders, and there's a much better social app there, sort of building towards MMO standard tools and ways of adminning your org and parties and groups. But you're going to be able to, at a glance, tell who's in your org. People that you're at war with are going to be up with like a different color. There's going to be alliances and wars, org for missions and management. You're going to be able to have like decals and customizations of your org on your ship, stuff like that. Really, really, really integral to a Star Citizen experience that has organizations. Dressed to kill. This was a very interesting presentation. So they showed off the fact that armor and clothes can sort of be combined together now, and there's lots of fashion options and customization options that are coming in the future. There's going to be a load of specialized equipment and armor. Everything's going to have its own stats, but if you want to specialize in a particular role, be it engineering or mining or different types of combat, you can with different types of gear. There's going to be like tracker armor that's pretty heavy that allows you to track and sort of like ping out and detect things, but you're going to be quite loud when you do that. There's going to be stealth armor for those of you who want to be snippers, armor for pilots, or a mixture of those things, and you can sort of specialize in what you want to without it being a hard class. And these different roles are really important for different sort of things that you'll do, like raids and large-scale events and all that sort of stuff. But also, they showed off here sandworm raids. Basically, the giant Valakar, the big sandworm from 2016, comes out of the ground. It's absolutely massive. You have to fight it. And why do you want to fight it? Well, because you want to loot its delicious teeth and pearls, because they sell for a load of money. It spits sand at you. It smashes you. It needs to be baited out of the ground by like driving a ground vehicle on it. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be going on there. Really like the idea. They said there was going to be like large scale monster hunting and that sort of stuff as well. So really looking forward to that. There was the Beyond Pyro presentation. So they basically went, yeah, we've been working on Nyx 2. That'll be the next system after Pyro. This borders Vandal space. So you're going to see Vandal here a lot. They've redone Delamar, which is now a proper asteroid in the Glassam Ring. They also showed off a zero-G loading dock, and basically goes, Hull series will want to unload their cargo here because you can take it straight off the Hull C, chuck it on a magnetic or grav panel on the side. Bam, it's basically like a external freight elevator in zero gravity. This will be coming to places in Stanton and Pyro as well in the future. They're building a better refinery and cargo experience, better station experience. They're getting ArcCorp in better with more districts and building interiors. This is going to be on more landing zones as well, but they sort of wanted to talk about ArcCorp because they went, we've got this thing called the Municipal Works and the Depths, and basically with the Depths, they're instanced PvE dungeons, I believe, that you can go in, go loot, and you can kind of progress in, and when you build up like enough rep or completion in a dungeon there, you can then go to the next level and sort of start there continuously and get different loot, more loot, and sort of keep on doing that. It sounds like proper MMO dungeons. So they're going to have loads of different things like this. It's a bit like the contested zones, right, in Pyro, and they're going to have lots of different types of these all over the place. Castra, they talked about. This is the 4th star system they're going to be building after Nyx. So they're going to have they talked a bit about Castra with, there's Planet Bullseye, which is like this Call-less Dead world for weapon testing. There's Castra 2, Cascom, which is this military island in the sky on this quite nice planet, very scenic, that's sort of turned civilian and a bit tradey and businessy. It's in pre-production at the moment. It's got this great brutalist architecture. There was then the Redacted panel, which is a Squadron 42 panel. They showed off the first chapter of Squadron 42. Now, Chris Roberts very much has the something I've deemed, and do not mean this offensively, it is high risk, same reward mentality. So they could have done a video for this sort of Squadron 42 playthrough of chapter 1, but they wanted to do it live because they wanted to prove it was real, and it crashed a few times throughout, but they unfortunately had sort of like save locations that had checkpoints so they could sort of go back. It was very cool. It was a lot of cinematic stuff. It was like over an hour of traversal tutorial where you don't actually fly a ship. You haven't even got to that stage yet. Very cool though. Showing there was no Squadron 42 celebrities. I actually thought they were going to turn up and say some stuff. They did say it was going to be 30 to 40 hours of gameplay here. And yeah, disappointingly, they gave us a Squadron 42 year that it's coming, 2026, but they were quite vague. No hard release date. I did expect a hard release date. I am a bit disappointed that they didn't give a hard release date here, but I do want Squadron 42 to be a great game, and the first chapter is looking amazing. Like, that is absolutely fantastic what they showed off there. Loads of cinematic stuff, the start of the game. Then, day 2, they started off with crafting and bases. They basically went, you can craft pretty much everything in game, and there's cooking, and you gather resources to build this stuff. You'll need to refine the materials, or at least some of the materials. The higher quality stuff will give you better stats on whatever you are building or crafting, and you'll need blueprints for this stuff, which you'll get through missions and buying them, reputation or looting or whatever. You'll need fabricators based on the size of the thing you want to fabricate, or the specialization of the thing you want to fabricate. Best things in the game are going to be crafted. You can also upgrade these. You can research this stuff and then research like different tweaks you can do to this stuff. Build it up to different tier levels, up to tier 3. So like 3 upgrades on a weapon or a piece of armor. Again, materials are important here. You can craft ships and loads more. Pretty much, as I said, everything in the game will be craftable to some degree, and you can upgrade your ships to like tier 5, adding sort of more stats and stuff onto them, and really making them just what you want them to be, specializing in what you want them to be. Other things you'll be able to craft: bases. Again, you'll need blueprints and materials, and a form of crafting for them. So there are various different types of building tool. The smallest thing is like the crafting cart, which can fit in like a ship as small as a cutter, and you basically will drive this out of it, or push it out, and then it has drones in, and it will grab nearby resources and build what structures you want it to build. But it's only got small drones, which can only build small-sized buildings. The larger the drone, the quicker it will build things, and the larger size of building it can build. But there's like refineries and fabricators. You can build fabricators of up to hangar size, so you can literally build big old ships. There's extractors that you can use to exploit resources of different types, and you'll need this all to be powered, and fuses will degrade here. Structures are also going to be upgradable. Fuses will wear out, and you'll need to replace them. Power generators might need fuel based on what generator you've built. You'll also be able to have underground hangars, basically mirroring what you've got in your hangar on station at the moment. You'll be able to set up the base for a load of different purposes, whether it be combat or storage or as a shop. You'll be able to sell sort of items and ships and gear from kiosks or physical display, so you can have stuff marked up and on view. You can do farming and ranching and loads of different stuff, including making these massive sprawling bases and towns. It looks like once you've got your base sort of set up, you could potentially do everything planet-side that you might want to do for crafting and refining and mining and all that sort of jazz. Though resources, I'm not 100% sure exactly how they're limited on planets, whether it's limited by sort of like you can only extract a certain amount during a certain period of time, or if there are limited resources, there's only 100,000 iron under the deposit you've got. So will you be moving bases, or will it just sort of become less profitable, or you can only extract a certain amount over a certain period of time? Bases that build in safe systems will have planetary shielding to basically make them invulnerable, but in dangerous systems or systems that haven't got sort of lawful protections, then you are going to have to build your own base defenses there. You can build ground shielding, you can build defense turrets, you can build walls, with loads of stuff like that. It is going to be quite hard to sort someone else's base. There's also ways that you can get planetary shielding in sort of like the Nyx system and the Pyro system by competing with other orgs. Captains of Industry showed off a load of new ships and vehicles. So they talked more about the drones and the ground construct cart, but also showed off the Argo CSV, which is a construction support vehicle. Basically, they're adding a fabrication one that has a couple of medium drones. But also an SM variant, which is like a flatbed truck for moving resources around. They've got the MISC Starlancer build, TAC, and MAX. So they're kind of like big freelancers, the Max being the cargo variant, the TAC being a combat variant, and then the build being a building variant. The Pioneer is being reconcepted as a factory base, so this means that it's got the largest scale of drone, extra large drones. It's also got fabricators, crafting, medical bays, refining, extractors, loads of room for carrying stuff all on board. It is a mobile base that you can use to construct the largest buildings at other bases. I think it was 1,000 SCUs of space it's got and stuff like that. But also, it can build, ships and vehicles. And the first part of space stations. So I'll talk about this briefly now. So space stations are going to be part of Star Citizen 1.0 and coming after the sort of ground bases. But you start building them with a Pioneer. You sort of like build the cargo area, and then you drop cargo off here and then build the rest of your giant space station, which you can upgrade loads. You can add a load of different modules on. You can add hangars too. You can add loads of specialist facilities. You can stick a load of these together, connecting these large star bases together, and also build a dry dock ship fabricator and service area where you can build potentially ships the size of a Bengal. They showed a Bengal in there. That's a pretty big ship, and it's great that you don't have to buy them with real money. They also said that the Mirai Guardian, which is one of the ships they showed off at last year's CitizenCon, as well as the Crusader Intrepid, another one of those ships, and the Polaris will all be at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo this year, and I believe flyable by players. They teased a variety of other ships as well, from I believe the Hornet Mark IIs, the rest of them that have yet to be released. The CSV, that new Grey Cat vehicle that's been rumoured, something else built on the Atlas chassis, Guardian, some form of MISC-looking ship, the Crusader Intrepid, something that looks a bit like a smaller version of the Corsair, I believe the Apollo, the Starlancer, the Perseus, which I was very excited about, what appears to be an Ironclad, and the Pioneer. And I believe the plan is to have all of those out within the next 12 to 18 months, which I believe is true of everything shown off at CitizenCon, except for maybe Squadron 42 and the rest of the Star Citizen 1.0 stuff, which admittedly did also include the player space stations. So bear that in mind. They're going to be coming after the ground bases, and potentially not within the next 12 to 18 months, but it might. We'll have to wait and see. So there was a big 1.0 Road to Star Citizen panel or presentation at the end of CitizenCon. And they basically said, look, there's a load of features that when are out, we consider Star Citizen to be 1.0. We consider we will change some things about Star Citizen once all these features are out. And some of the things they will change are no more resets. So as soon as Star Citizen 1.0 is released, no more resets, bam, that's sort of it. The game and progression have properly started. But also they said a lot of the stuff that we're going to mention for 1.0 will come out before 1.0. It's literally, this is a list of things that we want for 1.0's release. So they also admitted the game's changed since its inception. They are adding a main story. This is basically to go, look, there's a reason to move around the different zones. We'll pull you into these zones. We'll teach you all the different things that you can do in game, all the different roles, all the different industries, how that all connects together. You do that, you can earn citizenship, which gives you some additional rights and cool stuff in game, including, I believe, the right to buy land claims and get a warranty for your ship, which is transferable and stuff like that. There are going to be guilds, which sort of have a load of factions grouped together and a reputation system for them. You'll be working with loads of different guilds and factions as you progress throughout the game and do different missions for them, that sort of stuff. I did talk to Benoit as well, and he said something that is essential for 1.0 as well is dynamic server meshing. We've got static server meshing coming with 4.0, and dynamic server meshing will be coming later by 1.0. They need that just to have the scale of what they want to do, because they want this to be a huge MMO game, and this is kind of how they're getting there. So yeah, there's also going to be 5 star systems with the initial launch of Star Citizen. So this is going to be Stanton, Nyx, Castro, Pyro, and Terra. And Terra's quite important or cool because it is a hugely built up human system. There's like big skyscrapers and lots going on there. They do want to build towards their 100 star system goal, but it will be coming after Star Citizen 1.0. They're going to constantly be adding new stuff to the game, and the features that they're going to be adding to the game, the star systems they're going to be adding to the game, are going to be a lot more complete. They're going to be like, bam, this is polished, this is ready for a part of the commercial release. It's not going to sort of like, this is super broken. Obviously, they're going to test that stuff on PT and stuff like that still, but they also talked about the need for star sim and a dynamic economy, so that quanta system, all that sort of stuff. With dynamic economy, they answered a load of questions and said how some of this is going to work. So taxes are an important thing because they help reduce money in the system, as is insurance. There's going to be inheritance tax when you die, death of spaceman, all that sort of jazz. That's all part of it. But also there'll be taxes on your base and stuff like that, or whatever you've got for your bases. Insurance is an important thing as well. We've got health insurance. So again, part of a death of a spaceman, but also your ship. So losing a ship, you don't really want to lose your ship. And insurance, you buy insurance to your ship. That will pay out credits for when you lose your ship. So potentially have to go and buy your ship again, buy your customizations, all that sort of stuff. It could be quite expensive. You might not get really as much as you paid out, but insurance will at least cover you to a degree. There's also warranties. And then when combined with insurance, you'll get your ship back. But there's also going to be different levels of this where you just either get your base ship back, or you can get your base ship and components, or base ship components and decorations. I really like that because you can just go, this ship I'm going to make sure is really well protected, so I'm going to put my transferable warranty onto it, or some ships will just come with a warranty or whatever, and then make sure it's fully insured, and bam, you lose it, but you get it back and all your customizations are still there. There are going to be times and stuff associated with that, so bear that in mind. Start ships, they're going to be freely available, so you lose them, bam, you get them back really quickly and easily. And that is your summary of CitizenCon. There was a load of actual stuff to see and do there as well, but I'll talk about this in some other videos because I went on an office tour. I talked to a load of devs. I want to go into details of the individual panels because there's a ton of stuff there as well. We'll be pumping out a load of CitizenCon based content over the next couple of weeks and deep dives and all that sort of jazz. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you love what they were talking about at CitizenCon? Did I miss anything major? Obviously, we'll be discussing it in a bit more detail in the individual summaries. If you've got any questions about anything, chuck it in the comments below and listen to this beautiful chap about NordVPN and stuff. A very long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, CIG had taken over the development of NordVPN. And at CitizenCon, the yearly Nord FanFest, they were releasing their first game, Squadron Nordy 2. It's amazing, and it would truly revolutionize the FPS industry. Then I woke up and realized that NordVPN is already great and released, and it doesn't need an FPS module, it's a VPN. And you should get it now, links below, discount. Helps channel, read bullet points. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For October, it's for a Drake Corsair with a game package and lifetime insurance. All you have to do to be in for a chance of winning that lovely Star Citizen access and ship that can be used for exploration, but it's also this cool little multi-role, multi-crew ship. You just need a comment on any of our videos made during October, that will go into the hat. It's not a hat, it's a spreadsheet. It goes into that, and then a random person is chosen. With the addition of Alpha 4.0 and Pyro, there's going to be tons more to see and explore. The Corsair is perfect for that. Good luck. Please consider supporting the channel as well. We've got the join button under our videos that will make you a channel member. That goes a long way in supporting the channel, as does becoming a Patreon. It's pretty much the same thing, but for different mediums. You can also like, comment, share, or sub, things like that. That all helps with the channel hugely. We are also gathering questions for CitizenCon, so chuck those in the comments below as well. If I find any appropriate devs, I will ask your question, or I will probably amalgamate lots of questions together and make them more concise. Thank you so much for your support and watching, and I hope you have a great October.